A tense fight is playing out between Apple and the FBI over security versus privacy. Apple is refusing to unlock a phone owned by one of the San Bernardino killers. Syed Farouk and his wife, Tashfeen Malik, killed 14 people in December. Investigators think Farouk's iPhone could hold crucial information. But Apple's CEO says what the FBI is asking for is dangerous. In a letter overnight, Tim Cook wrote, Apple is challenging the FBI's demands with the deepest respect for American democracy and a love of our country. Ultimately, we fear that this demand would undermine the very freedoms and liberty our government is meant to protect. CNET senior editor Jeff Bakalar joins me now. Not just that, you had the president's White House press secretary today trying to outline the DOJ's stand here, and he said, look, they're not asking for an overall backdoor that could be used at any time. They're asking for access to this one phone. What is exactly so important, and what's blocking the FBI from getting what it needs off of this one phone?
So the reason why let's take a step back, it can't just be this one phone. The second they unlock this one phone, they are unleashing the potential for people who have other nefarious motivations to essentially unlock any iPhone.
Okay, does the technology exist right now for Apple to unlock the phone in the way the government wants?
So Apple says no, they would have to create that. That doesn't exist for the very purpose of it not spreading and getting into the wrong hands.
Is it, in your understanding, is it normal for tech companies to be ordered by the FBI to help them solve cases?
Tim Cook says this is unprecedented. Never before has the government sort of gone to a company and say, hey, we need you to breach the privacy of potentially their entire consumer base. And that is the absolute crux of this situation. The second Apple says, okay, we're going to do this, there's really no way to prevent that information from getting into the wrong hands. Then you have a massive privacy crisis.
So when the press secretary says, just this one phone, we're not asking for an overall backdoor.
Totally. It just doesn't, the world doesn't work like that. Like you can say that, and they can make every effort to sort of vacuum seal this and say, hey, it's just going to be for this one phone. But as we know, things tend to leak out, and the second that's out there, we're in a lot of trouble.
What are they asking for? They're asking for a way to get past that security code to unlock the phone that we all see on our phones? I
mean, that's sort of like a surface level description of what they want to do. They basically want to install an operating system version on that phone to create this sort of backdoor access. Once that software is in place, like we've said, it will sort of create this situation, this potential situation where that can get into the wrong hands.
Am I wrong? Or I thought the FBI and the CIA and all of these intelligence agencies had top-level IT coders and software guys who could crack anything that they needed to crack.
They don't. Apple is in the business of protecting its consumers' information and their privacy, and this is really where these two sides meet. And I think there's a lot of sort of misinformation and confusion about what exactly is possible. Apple's biggest interest is protecting the identities and information and privacy of its users.
And if it invents a way for the government to get into this one phone, the technology then exists for China to get into the phones of human rights or government dissidents, for Russian hackers to get in and take our identities.
You're opening a Pandora's box. There's really they would basically have to start from scratch. We'd all have to shift over. It would never practically play out in a way that would be secure for everyone involved.
Is Apple going to face a backlash? I mean, I was just having drinks with a friend the other night who we were talking about WhatsApp and these other dark apps that really, people like me heard of them first post Paris terror attacks. These are those end-to-end encrypted messaging apps where the only people who can read it is the person who sent the message and the person who gets the message, and even the company that came up with the WhatsApp technology can't read in between, and they've said that's the whole point.
Exactly.
You can't spy on
encryption.
Right. And it's great for lawyers, it's great for doctors that when they need to talk to their clients. It's what keeps your communication private. And she's like, are you kidding me? Are you okay with the government not being able to spy on terrorists? And, like when you put it like that, is Apple going to face a backlash from people who value security more than liberty?
Perhaps. I mean, you really have to put yourself in their shoes, I guess. I know that's not a super easy thing to do. They're this massive multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. But from where they're coming from, they're saying, look, if we let this out, we will knowingly, with everyone sort of having this warning that they're giving out, saying, look, the second we do this, it's over. There's no coming back from this. So I think there's a bit of responsibility that they're sort of getting out in front of and saying, look, this is something we're going to stick to our guns with. We've been cooperative up until this point. You understand why we can't take this next step.
By the way, then you're going to have other, like I said, these messaging apps and other companies, Android, Google, whatever.
It's always, of course, it's always this cat and mouse game, right?
Yeah.
The people who want to stay hidden on the internet will always have a way to stay hidden. I don't think that's something that we're ever going to really be able to wrap our sort of grip around on the internet. So, I think the way you have to look at it with Apple is Apple saying, look, we are the owners. We have so many millions and millions of consumers that use our products. You realize what kind of colossal breach in security this would result in if we were to do this.
Jeff, great to talk to you. Thanks for laying it out for us.